My name is Lucas Grant, and I was 34 when it all began. The sound wasn't loud. That's what stayed with me. Not a crash, not a scream, just a dull plastic crack, like something snapping that was never meant to be fixed again. My daughter stood frozen in the doorway, controller still in her hands, eyes wide and dry. On the floor, the PS5 lay in two uneven pieces, cords dangling like exposed nerves. My sister straightened up slowly. She refused to share, she said, brushing her hands together. I'm not raising my son around selfishness. My brother-in-law stepped beside her. Kids need consequences. I looked at my parents. Surely. My mother sighed. Lucas, it's just a game. My father nodded. Family shares. You're overreacting. My daughter didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just whispered, Daddy, can we go home? I knelt, checked her hands, her face. Yes, I said. Get your shoes. Behind me, my sister scoffed. You're not really leaving over this. I stood slowly. Come. Too calm for them to notice what had already shifted. I'll replace it, I said. Don't worry. That's when my brother-in-law laughed. Good. That's what a reasonable adult does. I smiled once, because I wasn't replacing a console. I was replacing access. And by the time they realized what I'd done, their phones were already ringing. The drive home was quiet, not heavy, focused. My daughter stared out the window, blinking fast like she was trying not to lose something she couldn't name. At home, I made dinner while she sat at the table drawing. No questions. No explanations yet. I waited until she finished her last bite. You didn't do anything wrong, I said. She nodded, trusting me in that way kids do before the world teaches them otherwise. After she went to bed, I opened my laptop. I didn't rage text. I didn't call anyone back. I logged into the family plan I'd been paying for years, the one tied to my parents' utilities, my sister's phone lines, and my brother-in-law's temporary internet. The one they never asked about anymore because it had always just worked. I removed my payment method. Then I cancelled the cloud storage I funded for family memories. Revoked access to the shared streaming bundle. Paused the auto-pay on my parents' vacation trailer insurance, due in 3 days. No announcements. No warnings. Just clean clicks and confirmations. My phone buzzed once at midnight, then twice, then it wouldn't stop. Missed calls stacked from my sister, then my brother-in-law, then my parents, each louder than the last. I put the phone face down and went to sleep. At 6:12 a.m., a voicemail slipped through the silence. My father's voice, tight and panicked. Lucas, what did you do? I sat up steady, because they were finally asking the right question. And the answer wasn't simple. It was overdue. I didn't answer the voicemail. I made coffee, packed my daughter's lunch, signed the permission slip she'd forgotten on the counter. Life didn't pause just because someone else finally felt consequences. By 9 o'clock, the calls turned frantic. My sister left a voice note, breathless. Lucas, the internet's down. My son has online classes. Fix this. Then my brother-in-law. Hey, man, must be a billing glitch. Can you put the card back on? Finally, my mother, softer, sharper underneath. Your father can't access his accounts. The trailer insurance says it's lapsed. What's going on? I waited until noon. Then I called my parents. My dad answered on the first ring. Lucas, we don't know what happened. Everything stopped at once. I know, I said. Silence. My mother cut in. This is punishment, over a toy. I stirred my coffee. Over respect. My sister's voice jumped in from the background. You're hurting everyone to make a point. No, I replied evenly. I removed myself from paying for people who hurt my child. My brother-in-law scoffed. So what, you're holding us hostage? I breathed out slowly. You smashed my daughter's property. You defended it. You laughed. This is me declining to fund that behavior. Another pause. He tried a different angle. Fine. We'll replace it. Too late, I said. Lucas, my mother started. I already replaced something, I continued, the arrangement. The line went dead. 2 minutes later, a new call came in from a number I didn't recognize, and the name attached to it made me sit up straight. Was their bank. The bank representative spoke carefully, like every word had legal padding around it. Mr. Grant, we're calling because several accounts tied to your payment method experienced sudden lapses. Your parents listed you as the primary pair on multiple services. I leaned back in my chair. Not anymore. Pause. Keyboard clicks. Understood. We just needed confirmation that the changes were intentional. They were, I said. When I hung up, my phone rang again immediately. My mother this time, voice cracking through her attempt at control. The bank called us, she said. They said you removed yourself from everything. Why would you do this to your own family? I didn't raise my voice. Why would you let someone break my daughter's property and call it discipline? That was between the kids, my father snapped. You escalated it. No, I replied. You minimized it. My sister jumped on the line. My son is crying because nothing works. Are you proud of that? I thought of my daughter standing silent in the doorway, PS5 in pieces at her feet. I'm proud I showed my child she's protected, I said. My brother-in-law scoffed. So what do you want? An apology? I paused. I want distance. The word landed harder than money ever had. You can't just cut us off, my mother whispered. I didn't, I replied. I stopped paying. Silence swallowed the call. Then my father said quietly, if you don't fix this, we'll be in trouble. I looked at the calendar reminder on my phone, insurance renewal, trailer, 3 days, now marked inactive. You already are, I said. And for the first time, they understood this wasn't about a console. It was about access they just lost. The trouble showed up faster than I expected. My father called that night, voice low, stripped of its usual certainty. The trailer park flagged us. Without insurance, they're threatening penalties. We can't even tow it. I pictured summers the first paid for. Get repairs. Quiet weekends they'd never invited us to. That's unfortunate, I said. My mother jumped in, panic leaking through. Lucas, please. Just put things back the way they were. We'll talk about what happened. We'll set rules. You already set rules, I replied. They just didn't protect my child. My sister tried a new tactic. You're acting like we attacked her. You destroyed something that belonged to her, I said, in front of her. And you felt justified. My brother-in-law exhaled hard. It's a game system. I let the silence stretch. Then quietly, it was hers. That stopped him. The next morning, an email arrived from my parents' utility provider, copied to me by mistake. Final notice. Payment required to restore service. I forwarded it back with one line, wrong contact. My daughter asked that afternoon if she could invite a friend over. I said yes. We played board games. We laughed. No screams. No tension. That night, my sister sent a message she'd never sent before. Please. We need help. I read it once and didn't reply, because help offered without accountability is just permission. And permission was the one thing they'd lost for good. The silence didn't last. By noon the next day, my parents were at my door. Not angry. Not loud. Scared. My mother's eyes were swollen, hands twisting together like she could wring time backward. My father stood stiff beside her, pride cracking at the edges. We just need things turned back on, my dad said, temporarily, until we figure this out. I didn't invite them in. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. You already figured it out, I said. You chose sides. My mother whispered, she didn't mean to break it. I know, I replied. She meant to teach my daughter something. They flinched. Inside, I could hear my daughter laughing with her friend, like safe, untouched by this conversation. My father cleared his throat. Your sister said she'll apologize. She'll replace it. That's repair, I said. Not responsibility. My mother reached for my arm and stopped herself. Lucas, you're tearing the family apart. I shook my head slowly. I'm stepping out of the role that held it together. A car pulled up behind them, my sister's SUV. She stepped out fast, eyes wild, phone already in her hand. You don't get to do this, she snapped. Dad's credit card just got declined at the pharmacy. I met her gaze, calm. That's not my emergency. Her face drained. And that's when she said the one thing she shouldn't have, something that turned this from boundaries into consequences. She laughed, not nervous, not embarrassed. She needed to learn, my sister said, shrugging. Kids like yours grow entitled when you don't break them early. The word break landed like glass. My father inhaled sharply. My mother froze. For the first time, no one rushed to soften what she just said. I felt something settle, not rage, not shock, decision. I turned my phone so they could see the screen. One email, timestamped minutes earlier. Subject: reimbursement claim, property damage, police report attached. My sister's face drained. What is that? I filed a report, I said calmly, not for punishment, for record. My brother-in-law stepped forward. You called the police on family? No, I replied. I documented destruction of my child's property. My mother whispered, Lucas, please. I looked at her. You watched it happen. My sister scoffed, trying to recover. It's a PS5. No one will take this seriously. I nodded. The officer already did. Silence swallowed the driveway. I continued, voice steady. I also submitted receipts, photos, statements, and I requested restitution. My brother-in-law swore under his breath. My sister's voice cracked. You're really doing this? I glanced back toward the house where my daughter's laughter floated through the open window. Yes, I said. Because she deserves to grow up knowing adults are accountable. My phone buzzed again. A new message from an insurance adjuster. And the look on my sister's face told me she already knew this wasn't going away. The adjuster's message was short and precise. Claim received. Coverage pending. Restitution recommended from responsible party. My sister read it over my shoulder and sank onto the curb like gravity had finally noticed her. My parents didn't speak. There was nothing left to minimize. I'll pay, my sister said finally. I'll replace it. I'll say sorry. Just make this stop. I shook my head. Replacing a console doesn't replace what you taught my daughter. My brother-in-law tried once more. What do you want, Lucas? I answered without hesitation. Distance. And boundaries that don't bend. They nodded, not in agreement, but in surrender. Over the next week, utilities were restored under new names. Accounts were separated. Bills went where they belonged. The reimbursement came through quietly. No courtroom. No spectacle. Just consequences handled like adults are supposed to. I bought my daughter a new console, not the same one. A different color. A fresh start. We set it up together, slow and careful. She smiled the whole time. Will they be mad? She asked. Maybe, I said. But that's not your job to fix. We didn't see them for a while after that. When we did, it was brief, polite, distant. The way things are when access has conditions. I didn't cut anyone off in anger. I taught them how to behave around my child. And if they wanted back in, they'd have to earn it without breaking anything first.